Hello walkers, and welcome to City Walks, where we go out and explore different places. My name is Henry. I'll be your proxy walker today, your virtual travel guide. I'm also doing a 360 walk with this one. Thought it would be an appropriate place to do that. So we'll see. That'll do about the first 30 minutes and then the camera shuts off automatically, and that's just what you get, because otherwise it's too much of a hassle. Okay, so like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. It's about 1 p.m. today. I'm going to give you some information as we go along here that I've got my son to look up, actually. And what else? It's about 46 degrees Fahrenheit, late November, and a beautiful, beautiful day. Excuse me. What else do I like to tell you guys? I think it's about 3 or 4 degrees Celsius. Did I say it's about 1:30 p.m.? 1 p.m.? Hi there. So this is a national monument, not a national park. However, your national park annual pass will get you in here. Did I tell you? Oh yeah. So one of the things I like to say is to explain to you guys that I don't always have all the information here. This is an exploration. I take you along. I do a little research to begin with, and then just go out and wander around and find out things and discover things. It's sort of a treadmill travel, relaxing travel walk. Excuse me. I just walked in Gillette earlier, in Wyoming. We're really close to the South Dakota and Montana borders here. Closest town is either Moorcroft or Sundance, each of about 1,000 people. You could probably get a hotel there. Otherwise, Gillette's an hour away, or Rapid City, South Dakota is an hour and a half, and that includes, I believe, that's interesting. So I just want to show you something off to the right. This trail is closed off, and there are some people up there. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. We're going to take the Tower Trail 1.3 mile loop. Obviously they're doing some construction and rehab here. But this is a sacred site to many native peoples. It was called Devil's Tower by, I forget, one of the European explorers out here. But it was referred to as Bear Lodge, I believe, or Bear Lodge, that's what I thought. And there's some stories about that. Look, I love this old pavilion. I'm sort of not delivering this well as we walk along this relief here. So anyway, let's get back to the cities. There's sturgis and spearfish are also around here. We're on the edge of the Black Hills. If you want to have more development, there are campgrounds. There's a campground in the park. There's a KO8 campground. I think there's a couple other commercial campgrounds. And then, of course, there are dude ranches and guest ranches and that sort of thing around. So, something. What is that? Oh, right. So I'm going to take just a moment here. Sorry about that. Maybe I'll cut that out. Anyway, so those are places to get food and restaurants and that sort of thing. We are on the edge overlooking the Bellfouche River. So actually, I think the campground is down by the river. It's called the Bellfouge Campground. And this is an old volcanic plug. Hi there. Good, thanks. And it, I think, came out, it dates back to the Triassic period. First of all, I want to get credit to my son for doing all the research on this. It is a renowned climbing spot, but it's also sacred to many tribes in the area, including the Sioux, the Kiowa, the Cheyenne, the Crow, and probably others. I don't remember all of them. My apologies. And you'll see a lot of ribbons. I've seen a couple red ones already, and there's some up here. I don't know the significance of that, but I think they kind of relate to prayers or offerings. And there's been some conflict. Look at this amazing place. Around a little bit of conflict around that, where they eventually came up with an agreement where climbers would not climb in the month of June. And a lot of activities were going on here, tribal activities. So 85% of climbers avoid that month. There are a few that don't. Personally, I think that's, and they sued, I think, because the separation of church and state here in the U.S., which I get, but it's voluntary, so you can see all these ribbons here. That's kind of, I'm not a climber, but it seems like a small thing to ask. Look at these some more over here. Hi there. These Boulder Fields. So it was designated as a national monument in 1906 by Theodore Roosevelt after the Antiquities Act was passed. And it is beautiful. Up here we got a lot of, I believe, ponderosa pine. There was maybe some scrub oak or some sort of oak, or maybe cottonwood is what I'm thinking. And you got these massive boulders. And the legend, or there are several legends, but from what I read, look at these giant boulders down here. There's my oldest following us around. There's several variations of a legend that basically some kids were out and they got chased by a bear, either a giant bear or some other berries, and then they prayed to a god, and the god raised the earth out of the way of the bear, but the bear kept trying to climb, and that scratches, those lines are the scratch marks from the bear. And then obviously when I say variations, I'm not as informed as I should be on that stuff, but I think it varies a little bit by tribe and by groups. So, but it's really interesting to see that it is still being used and still sacred to them. Hi there. Hi. Good, thanks. Oops, excuse me. I love this kind of forest land here. The ponderosa woods that are sort of, there's not a lot of underbrush, and it's probably because the soil isn't adequate for it, but it's open but shaded, kind of park-like, and I really like that. And I get some good views out here over, I think it's Lytle Creek, And I have to give credit to my oldest son for doing the research on this. He was reading it to me on the way over, and I could sort of pepper him with questions, and he loves the geography too. So, and I'll be turning every once in a while to give another view. We're on Tower Trail, which is a 1.3 mile loop trail around the tower. As we drove in, it's $25 to get in unless you use your annual pass. And I left our annual pass at home, but it expires in February, so I went ahead and got another one because we're going to go to another park or national monument area, at least one, and that's going to save us, instead of paying $50 for two, we'll pay $80 and have it for a year. So I think that's the Belle Fourche River down there. We'll go out here. No, we won't. Yeah, so it just makes economic sense. It's a great bargain. And I'd like to say that money goes back to the Park Service, but I think it goes into the general fund. There are a lot of these interpretive signs, which is great. And this is, there's some steep bits on this trail, but they are not all, but it's pretty accessible. So I'm going to say it's paved. Down there, there's like a 3-mile road up to the visitor center. And along the way that we pass through, we saw like 5 or 6 deer just along the road. And you also go by a prairie dog town. And they're all fat and chunky right now, super cute little critters, their little tails and their chirps. I'm just going to let you absorb this a little bit. Love this. You can see some ribbons and some string that have been left here over the years. See the green of the lichens on that rock too. Oh yeah, one of the things, so it was first climbed, I'm going to put quotes around first, because it was like 1893 or something like that, and they put wooden ladders up there along the route. And there's 1,000 people coming out here to do the first ascent, to watch people go up for the quote-unquote first time, and then raise a flag on a flagpole. And as the article pointed out, the fact that there was a flagpole up there indicates that perhaps it was not the first time that they climbed it. In the 40s or 50s, some guy, as a promotional stunt, did I mention the Sioux? Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Parachuted onto the top of that thing, and his plan was to parachute on it without permission, and then rappel down the side with a 1,000-foot rope, because it's, I think, rises 1,200 feet, maybe 1,000 feet of vertical. It's up there. But unfortunately, he landed on the top, which is impressive, but the bag with his stuff, his 1,000 feet of rope, slid off the side. So he was stuck up there. And then the second bag that they tried to drop for him, it was like howling wind and rain and snow, and it froze up or something, and he couldn't use it. So he was up there for like 6 days before one of the first people to have climbed it using modern techniques in the 30s. I think his name was Durgan. Look at that view. Climbed up there and rescued him. Oh, the hubris. Oh. Isn't this just beautiful, though? I love it. I'm going to try and remember to put a link to more information about this place, because I'm definitely not doing justice to the Native American history of it, and I want to make sure that that gets told, and that because I think it's really interesting. And I'll have some more of the history of it as well. So I'm going to take a little spur off to the side here to see a nice little view. What's interesting is that this is all this igneous rock, and then out further we get into these layers of red rock, similar to Utah or Arizona. Uh-oh. Someone's got a call. This amazing view out here. So off to, well, kind of behind us are some other rocky outcroppings. You see the red rocks down in there. And they're called the Missouri Buttes. And I think it's the Butte Divide Ridge or mountains down there. We're actually looking out towards the Bear Lodge Mountains, which I think are part of the Black Hills. Love this. And when I'm not talking, it's wonderfully quiet. See, there's been some old fires in here. It's part of the natural cycle in most cases. Got out of a bit of in a rush of the car. I wanted to get going because I'm trying to do a lot of different things today, and hopefully I didn't rush too much. Look at that green. Somebody lost a hat over here. I believe in the summer, this place gets pretty busy. Pardon me. Love how open it is down here. Thanks. It's nice they have a lot of benches here along this path. It is 1.3 miles. And there's a couple little steep spots, but nothing too bad. And it's nicely paved, so very accessible. I love these old pines, these ponderosa, that orange bright bark. And they have people call it a vanilla smell, but it's definitely a sweeter, nice, pleasant aroma. Hi there. Hi. There's Anders. He gets to do his own little walk just for fun. Hi there. Let's stop for just a second and pan up. There's sort of what they call crack the window, where it's left a little bit of a ledge up there, sort of almost like an indentation, where the rock has broken free and left stuff above it. I love the sound of that wind in the trees. Looks like I had a little strap bumping against that microphone. I apologize. Didn't bust out my headphones to monitor. Look at this dead tree over here, several dead trees. And they get infested with bugs that eat the rotting wood, and then woodpeckers and other animals come in and eat the insects. All part of the cycle. Okay, so we're hitting the halfway point here on the trail. The monument itself is not very big. It's about a mile by a mile, I believe. And there are some other trails, but not significant amounts. I guess we got a couple more minutes on the 360. So if you're watching that, thanks for joining us. But the 2D, the flat version, is going to keep on filming, hopefully all the way around. So you might flip over to I have two channels now. One, I think it's 360 City Walks or City Walks 360. And then the City Walks regular channel. So flip back and forth depending on what you're doing. And let me know what you think about the 360 walks. You can, if you're not using goggles, you can either use your phone or your iPad or tablet and sort of move it around the tablet, and it'll let you see different parts of the view. Or if you're watching on a computer, you can use your mouse to drag around. It's kind of a neat technology. It's fun. This big rock. Tilt you up again to see it. For the 360 folks, I will try to make this thing keep going, but usually it's a heat issue with the camera. I love all these interpretive signs. I'd love to take the time to read them all to you, but it doesn't really fit into this walk. Look at this light. Oops. Try that again. No, that didn't last long. Sure getting beepy up there. This winter light so low. I feel like it's even, I may not even get another walk in today at this point, at this rate. I'm hoping to do spearfish and or sturgis, and then maybe maybe Rapid City tonight or tomorrow morning. I'd rather get an early start in the morning. And sunrise is until about 7:30 or so, 7 maybe. We're on the eastern edge of the time zone, so maybe a little earlier. I want to thank our Patreon supporters. I was in such a rush, I forgot to thank them. I'm trying to do that more often. It's a real encouragement, and it does help. All those little payments add up and help me do road trips like this to go see new and different places. So thank you very much. If you're interested, there's a link down in the description. Here's another one of those trees full of little holes that have been burrowed out by the here, let's go over here, by the birds. Oh, love this light. So I'm just going to show you one of these signs because I believe that's what it looks like up top. That says 867 feet up. I guess it all depends on where you're measuring from. There's gonna be a nice, nice image over here. Light on it. Pardon my cough. Beautiful. I think this just might be a viewpoint up here, but it's going to be a nice one. Yeah. Look at that. That Boulder Field. Pretty amazing stuff. All right. Very cool. Let's turn around. Go back into the woods. So off to the right here, you can see through the trees a little bit, a couple of the peaks from the Missouri Buttes. Hi there. Hey, pup. Pardon my sniffles. Lots of families out here today. That's kind of cool to see. Whoops. My 360 camera sticking up behind me got caught on a branch. Kids are having fun. I'm not sure what the different significance of the colors are, if there are any, of the ribbons. If you know, please let me know in the comments section. Oops. That's not me, I don't have my keys with me. Here's another good view. Look how solid the bottom is, and then it's all cracked and weathered up top. Lots of little white spots where birds have nested. Are there? Oh, I love this light. So they've modified this trail recently. I think that must be what a lot of this construction is about, and put in a bunch of little switchbacks to make it even more accessible. Before, there was a fairly steep incline right off the bat, and that can be a little intimidating if you are if you're not as mobile as a lot of other people. So at least you can, even if you don't want to do the rest of the trail, you can get up to get a good view of it from where we just were, which is nice. You can even take a slightly different trail called I think it's called the Red Beds Trail. It's 2.8 miles, unpaved loop, and it still returns you to the parking lot. Over there is a bathroom, and then behind these trees and across this parking lot is the visitor center, which is actually open this time of year, and given the situation, at least currently. I think I mentioned it's $25 to get in. Not a lot of parking. There is some overflow parking. There's some parking along the road, but I would suggest coming early or late to avoid crowds. It is worth it. It is a beautiful, beautiful place, and definitely, and it's not that far off the main highway. I think you're going to lose maybe half an hour plus the time you spend here. I mean, it's 30, 40 miles here and 30, 40 miles back, but it's kind of a triangle. This is the old ramp, so you can see how much steeper the old trails, you see how much steeper it is. Much nicer to be rolling or caning your way up this way. All right, so I think that is going to wrap us up here as we make our way back to the parking lot. I want to thank you guys for joining me. We made it about 47 minutes. Hi there. Fairly easy trail. Beautiful, beautiful views. A lot of history, a lot of cultural stuff, a lot of interpretive signs to stop and read. And so it's definitely worth the time, especially if you come early or late. The light is just wonderful. We're not sure exactly where I'm going to be walking next, but it will probably be in South Dakota. In order to find out, subscribe, click that bell to get notified when I drop the next video. Until then, from Devil's Tower, aka Bear Lodge. Keep on stepping.